Funerals actually take a lot more planning than I expected. With us using island cuisine for the first time, of course we were iffy, but once they came and showed us their service, their food, we tasted their food and everything, we definitely use them again because their service and food is just awesome.
I'll ride with the horses, I'll swim through the sea, I'll climb to the mountain tops, won't you come follow me? I'll take time to notice all that I see, and after I've come so far, you know where I'll be. I'll fly away, fly away, fly away, fly away home. I'll fly away, fly away, fly away, fly away home. But life is a vision, that's how it should be. The world is a canvas, and the choices are free. At the end of the journey, where all is complete, they'll all wonder where I've gone, but you know where I'll be. I'll fly away, fly away, fly away, fly away home. I'll fly away, fly away, fly away, fly away home. Our dreams last forever, for all that we know. The roads come together, and that's where we'll go.
The Pampas
and elite
wish we go away.
because we are
real and direct.
no interest owns us.
And we have no interest but
The truth. Together we are exposing
corruption.
Together we will reform criminal justice.
Together,
We are fighting violence
Against women and children.
We here at
Kandit
will shine the light
on every corner of darkness.
Together, we are giving a voice
to the voiceless.
and forgotten.
Together.
Together,
Together.
together,
we are giving a voice to the voiceless and forgotten.
We are Kandit News Group.
Marianas, Marianas, and Micronesia. I'm Troy Torres.
And I'm Johnny Rosario.
And a happy 20th birthday to Carlene Santos.
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday, Cuzzo. I love you.
Loved hanging out with you last night.
Yes,
Loved it.
yes.
It was
Birthday
wonderful.
car.
It was wonderful. And thank you, John Ananich, for the hospitality. And then to your people, we very much appreciate that. Happy belated birthday to my best Gela girlfriend, Gerald Lujan. Her birthday was July 14. And I think he was messaging me about something. Yeah, he's messaging me about something.
Hey,
Yes.
same birthday as my brother.
Yes. Happy belated birthday, Joey.
To my brother, my baby brother.
It's Friday. And it really does kind of feel like Friday.
It
right?
does, yes.
Except we've got a Sunday, Monday feeling because we have a very, very special guest, a very important person to the work the work of the people. And the work that has been done by Kandit, just a very important person. We are going to bring her onto the show after our first segment. We're going to have a break, and then we're going to bring her onto the show, and you're going to see who Candidate X is running for the House of Representatives in the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. And we're just so happy to have her. Just
Woman
so happy.
power.
Woman power.
Women
Woman
power.
power. Yes. But first, it is Friday, and the Guam legislature passed a bill. They passed something.
It passed?
I think the absentee one passed. To be completely honest with you,
I don't
I
know.
wasn't paying attention because I'll tell you what didn't pass in the Guam legislature today. A rollback of the business privilege tax,
Nope.
reform the medical malpractice mandatory arbitration act, anything that has anything to do with fixing the roads, taking the poor out of their poor situation, providing opportunity to people, preventing the closure of hundreds of businesses that are just going down like flies.
And making 5 stop back to 1 stop.
Making 5, yes, that's right,
Okay.
that's right.
Yeah.
What else didn't pass in the Guam legislature today? Oh, anything to improve public education, to make it so that teachers have more of an opportunity or the wherewithal to bring students up to learning standards. Nothing was passed that would aid the Guam Memorial Hospital. All that likely passed today was something stupid. And it's because by and large our Guam legislature is stupid. Another thing happened today, and that was the governor placed Guam in P Core 3
On Monday.
on Monday at
Midnight.
So what do they? Is that so? Like,
I don't know.
is it like after the minute after 11:59 p.m. Sunday, or is it the minute after 11:59 p.m. Monday?
I think Monday at midnight. So Sunday night.
I don't think she even knows that.
You don't think she knows? I don't think she knows either. Now, I would be like, yay, P Core 3. But honest to God, I don't know what it means. And I don't think the governor knows what it means either. So that's why we're not reporting on it, because we have a feeling that there's going to be some massive confusion about what P Core 3
So we'll just
really
wait
means.
for the confusion to like die down, and then we'll know
Yes.
what it is.
I mean,
right?
we'll laugh about it.
yeah.
Right?
You know, we'll report about what there is to laugh about. Otherwise,
Joe Pareto says common sense didn't pass either.
you go, Jill. In more important news, according to a meteorologist, and you're not going to find this on Joint Typhoon Warning Center yet, except that they did load the South Pacific into, when you go to Joint Typhoon Warning Center's website, for the past, I don't know how many weeks, you'll see that the South Pacific, North Pacific region did not have any, there was nothing on the right column of the website. Normally there's like a graphic, and then on the right column there's a list of the different regions throughout the Pacific. And there by and large has been nothing for the North Pacific and the South Pacific. We are in the North Pacific, just so you all know, like if
Just
nobody
in
knew that.
case you didn't know.
And P.S., this is a little secret to all the racist people out there. We are a part of Micronesia. I know. And that means, get this, we are all Micronesian. Just like how you say the Micronesian Mall, there's a reason the Micronesia Mall is on Guam, and that's because it's the name of the region. Anyway, so there's been quite like nothing going on until today. A meteorologist, go ahead and put up the weather graphic. A meteorologist is saying that there's some sort of weather disturbance forming a little south of Chuk. You see where Chuk is in the, like almost in the middle of that map. And now this is a dated thing. This is from June 29. I just wanted to show you the map of the map that Barbara Brown has of Micronesia, and that system is moving west northwest, and that it has a good probability of forming as it moves. I'm sorry, not west northwest, but north northwest. And where is north northwest? Well, that's the Marianas. So we'll see what's going on, and we'll track this for you guys. So while we are in P-Core 3 sometime on Monday, I'm sure the governor will figure it out and let us know which midnight she means on Monday. Maybe it won't matter, because by next week we might be in Core 2 and they'll have to explain all that to everyone. I don't know. Hopefully not. Knock on wood. Go to church.
The good part about that is that the lieutenant governor got some people into the homeless shelter in Mighty. So if this typhoon does come, or if there is something that comes our way, they're housed.
Oh, that's good. That is good.
So thank you, Lieutenant Governor.
And there's no school, so thank you, Lieutenant Governor. There's no school, so the shelters shouldn't be a problem, right? Mm-hmm. Except that that's like COVID festering territory. How are they going to social distance, when they put people together and congregate?
They can put some at the government house.
Oh, they can.
Yeah,
you're right. And governor's office.
Yeah.
They have good separations there.
Yeah.
In that.
I've been in the conference room. I've seen that.
At
place.
the governor's office.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Which conference room? The small
one
or the big one?
The big one.
Oh, what was the happening?
I went there to support Congressman Mike Nicholas.
Oh, that's right. I thought you meant like before.
No.
For like a proclamation or something.
No.
See, Chelo, if you were hanging out with me back then, I would have brought you into
I think if we were hanging out back then, you would have gotten into a lot of trouble, Chelo.
And speaking of trouble, oh wait, before we get into crime, did you want to? There's the Liberation Run.
The Liberation Run, yes. Prim, can you put up the slide, please? Liberation Day, never leave a fallen compadre, bike ride, and foot march.
Not compadre.
What?
Comrade.
Comrade, sorry.
Not your Malik.
Hey! Freedom Grinders and GY671 present Liberation Day. There's 2 starting points, one at the front gate to Anderson and one at the Naval Base Guam. You either ride your bike, you either run, or you walk, or you can get dropped off anywhere. But we're all supposed to land at Epal Beach.
Awesome. I think I'm going to do this one, and I think I'm going to do the Anderson one. And the reason why is because I'm going to go and pick you up. I would knock on your door and be like, wake up, yo. We're going.
So please come out and support this march.
Yes.
Is actually for veterans that are suffering from PTSD and also suicide. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of veterans committing suicide nowadays, and I don't know the numbers. I'm sorry.
I think John said 26 every year.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
Or 26 a day.
I don't
26 every day. 26 veterans throughout the United States who commit suicide every day.
Yeah. So this is to bring awareness. So let's support.
Yeah. All right. So speaking about crime, well, that's a bad seg now because we were talking about crime just a little bit ago.
Yeah.
And going right back to that, there's a plea agreement that has been recently unsealed by the federal government. And I'm very surprised that I did not see this in any news outlet in Guam or in the Northern Mariana Islands, because it has this unsealed plea agreement tells us it is a strong indicator that the federal government now has the evidence it needs to proceed with the prosecutions of bigger people.
Right.
So this is a plea agreement in a case that was signed. The plea agreement was actually signed in October of last year. And Kandit has talked about this actually a bit. But this time around that we're talking about this, since we're not going to say the name because
we said it already.
And we don't want to put this person in any more danger than this person already is. Mm-hmm. And that's how big of a deal that this unsealed plea agreement is. it means that this person who has signed this plea agreement has already provided the federal government with the
everything that they
cooperation,
needed.
all the testimony, all the evidence, and that in a future case that will be brought down, the hammer is going to come down at some point, and it'll be at a time that the prosecutors decide it should be brought down, or that the DEA and the FBI and HSI will decide that they are going to make arrests or secure their warrants or whatever. But based on the support that this person has given to very likely the DEA, HSI, and the FBI, there will be some rather hefty players in the drug world who are going to face prosecution in the near future.
And this is the way the cookie crumbles.
It really is. It really is. So what had happened was this person was caught in a raid where I think it was the DEA and HSI. I'm sorry, it was the Mandania Drug Task Force.
Yes, yeah.
The Mandania Drug Task Force conducted a raid, and in that raid, there were participating federal agents. So whenever you hear about Mandania and there were participating federal agents,
Then it's a big bust. But if it's Mandania alone, they got like
Then it's stupid,
they got like
yeah.
two.
yeah.
$2, 2 grams, two.
It means the federal government trusted the way the investigation had proceeded from that point on,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And so there was a raid. They found a whole bunch of stash. They found a lot of money in a safe, and the person started
3
to
safes.
cooperate. In the house?
No.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
1 safe in the house, and then 2 safety
3.
deposit boxes, right?
3.
Yes, you're right. Well, the daughter, the son-in-law, and herself.
Yeah.
And I think it was $400,000 found in 1 safety deposit box.
Car keys, ownerships, jewelry, stash.
A lot of, yeah.
Yeah.
The federal government would not have known about those safety deposit boxes if this person did not begin cooperating by the time the raid happened. So the raid happened, this person began to cooperate, a lot of drugs, a lot of money. Were there guns found? I can't remember. It might be here somewhere. Anyway, what's compelling about when you read this plea agreement is the admission from this person that this person would purchase methamphetamine at ounces at a time, which means that this person was a big fish, but which also means that this person purchased the methamphetamine from a much bigger fish.
Yeah.
From like a shark or something. And this plea agreement doesn't say who that is, and of course it's not going to say that. As part of the investigation that goes on and as part of the cooperation that this person provided, I'm going to assume, and it would be a wise assumption to make, that this person who signed this plea agreement provided those names, provided the
Everything.
information about how to get into this.
Yeah, it was on the previous documents.
Yes.
And they had initials, you know.
Yeah. I mean, if I don't know if the other media will cover it. If they do, they may very well say the name of the person, but for us, we're not going to. But we just wanted to let you all know. And this was a newsworthy thing.
You know,
to bring forward.
I with cases like these, coming from personal experience, you just want to move on with your life.
Yeah.
So, please take it from me. The quicker you get it done and over with, the quicker it's done and you get to move on with your life.
And hopefully
And that is the biggest part of recovery, is moving on with your life.
And I've heard that this person is just trying to move on with this person's life and family and all that stuff. So prayers to this person, and for justice, however justice comes about. Hopefully, it is in the best interest of everybody involved. And speaking of justice, I love these segs. These are great segs. Speaking of justice, you know, this Joanne Brown thing. This would have been a dead issue already. Now we're going on 3 days of it being in the news.
Oh, it's not gonna be. No. Sorry.
It would have been boring, except in the Guam Daily Post, Joanne Brown said something peculiar to me, and I thought, what a lying sack of shizo. She said, and the only, so I'm sorry, background. Joanne Brown is the
SeaWorld captain. Just kidding.
she is,
captive, not captain.
She is the topic of a performance audit just released by Public Auditor B.J. Cruz that said that there were these 9 pay raises that she received over a 6-year period that did not pass muster. And that the board illegally hired her, and that the questionable pay raises were illegal in nature, et cetera, et cetera. And you can extrapolate from the performance audit that some of these pay raises were given retroactively, which is expressly against the law. Now, in response to the audit, Joanne Brown decided not to say a darn thing about the findings, about the audit findings. She didn't.
Of course not.
All she did was deflect and blame Rory Respicio
And BJ.
and BJ Cruz. And as part of her response, she said that she is running for senator, and she found the timing of everything to be suspect because she is running for senator. And then she says she is running for senator, quote, to tackle corruption within our government, so I expect it to be personally attacked throughout this campaign. I know that fighting corruption will compel the corrupt to make every effort to mask their misdeeds and tear me down. This is an example of it. You know what this is an example of? This is an example of the pot calling the kettle black. But in this case, it's like the tonki calling the kettle black.
I just want to remind Joanne, this investigation started April 2019.
Yeah.
Okay?
As a result of Kandit filing a complaint with the Attorney General
Yes.
and the public auditor.
Yes.
Now, what I want to remind Joanne Brown about is something that goes back years further than that. I want to remind Joanne Brown personally that I personally remember that she is full of it, because I personally remember being in the same room that she was when a conspiracy to lie about and bring down and start a political witch hunt against 7 people in the Port Authority of Guam began. I can't speak for the ways the rest of the media is able to justify what they write about this topic, but what I can tell you is that I have more personal knowledge about it than anyone else in the media world, and that's because Joanne Brown and I were in the same room. We were in the governor's chambers when that plot was hatched, and Joanne Brown was one of the main players in the hatching of that plan, which led to millions of dollars in yours to Attorney Mike Phillips to fight these people, these innocent people. And for Joanne Brown to say that she's running for senator to fight, to tackle corruption within our government, I know that fighting corruption will compel the corrupt to make every effort. It just annoys me to no end. And this, mind you, this has to do with her salary. Her hiring, but also her salary, which went from $114,000 in December 2012 to, by the end of her term as the general manager, $169,794, I think, if I'm not mistaken, per annum. Just a huge increase in salary throughout all those years. Stop at that one. So this was when she was the assistant general manager. She served as assistant general manager
for 14 days.
For a few days, for 14 days. And so it started at $101,870. Then she transferred to general manager, had that salary. Then it jumped up to the 111, then to 114. So,
and then it just kept going up, and going up.
Yeah.
Until she got out in January of 2019, and she was making 169 something.
Now, when I was at the governor's office, I only knew about her above step recruitment in the very beginning, because I remember it was part of that meeting where the plan was hatched about the Port 7, where Joanne Brown's appointment as general manager was discussed. And I remember Joanne pulling the governor to the side and saying, "Governor, I have all this experience. Dan is okay with this. I need an above step recruitment so my salary can be this and whatever." And Governor Eddie Calvo said, "Yeah, sure, I'll write the letter." And so a letter was written to that effect. I did not know about all of the other pay adjustments that she got, and not many people knew, because it was done under the cover of darkness, as the performance audit says. But and I just wanted to give you that as perspective for what I'm about to say next. When the pay raises that were discovered to be illegal by the Attorney General Elizabeth Barrett Anderson at the time in 2014 became a controversy. That controversy was followed by a series of bills by Ben Pangilinan, BJ Cruz, and Mike Sinicolas to roll back the raises that the cabinet members got, and also to roll back the pay raises that the senators got. And in 2017, there was a hearing on the bill by then Senator Mike Sinicolas to roll back senatorial salaries, and Joanne Brown was the main person that the administration sent to tackle the support for this bill, meaning that the administration was opposed to this bill to reduce senatorial salaries because it was the way in to say that, for reducing senatorial salaries, we should also reduce the cabinet members' salaries. We should also reduce the mayoral salaries. And Eric chose a few clips for you to hear the Joanne Brown talking about this issue where she says she didn't have a dog in the fight, and this entire time she was receiving her pay raises. That's why she was saying she didn't have a dog in the fight. But let's hear the first clip.
So this idea that, oh no, we've got to get more revenue and do all this before we can, address the salaries of the senators or address the salaries of directors. I don't know what great benefit is going to be gained by having directors, for example, in our case, I mean, of course, I'm at the port, but have subordinates who have no direct responsibility to anyone, including the people of Guam. I don't mean in a negative way, that's just how this government's structured. I don't know why public service has continuously been degraded and public servants degrade the position. I don't understand what is gained by that at the end of the day. A soundbite is gone like that. Today's paper's yesterday's news. Evening by then, 10, 11 o'clock, you forget, unless you look the next day, it's gone. The long-term impacts, because would the young Joanne Brown now want to do public service? If I looked at now, I don't know. I'd really have to think about it because I'd have to deal with all of this nonsense. But please don't think anybody can fill it. Yeah, anybody can fill these seats, and some of you last a term or two. Joe T, I have to tell you, your dad, Joe T, because he is the only Joe. I mean, you're Joe T, but he is Joe T, who I had the privilege of serving with, and my former colleague Ted, who always out-talked me. My first term, I was actually very quiet because I could out-talk Ted. You cannot out-talk Ted. And he looked at us. We're all out here, and we were all young, and we were all new, and we came in mass. We disseminated. We were the new majority in the 21-member legislature from the Ada Blas administration. We were all that. And I remember him walking out here and looking at us, kind of sizing us up and going, you guys are nothing but a bunch of experiments. That is so... Did he just say that to us? Tony, did he say that to us? We're a bunch of... What do you mean? I mean, we've arrived. We got elected. And he says, I'm tried and true. Back then, I was like, what the heck is he talking? Years later, after being here and serving all those terms, I said, I understand what he meant. And getting elected, good luck to you. Surviving it. Being reelected. And had Joe T. chose to run, sir, your dad would have gotten reelected. Hell, I would have voted for him. He's a Democrat. But he would have gotten reelected. And there's something to be said for that. There really is something to be said for that, to have that level of longevity, that the people have that much confidence. Tony Ampinko, who I love and respect very much. Wow. The only person I thought who would beat Tony was maybe Ben Pangilinan. And had he survived, I think maybe Ben would have exceeded the term of speaker.
There's more to that whole thing that you guys should see, and if we have the time, we'll post.
We'll cut it. Put it.
We'll put it up somewhere. But there's a whole lot more to that hearing. But I wanted to show you that because of the part where she says, and though that's a combination of different clips throughout, I think it was like 30 or 40 minutes that Joanne Brown goes on to say that the senators shouldn't cut their salaries from $85,000 back to $55,000 because it degrades the role of a public servant and as a senator, but really it was because if the senators had cut their salaries, it would have been the entrance to cutting the cabinet salaries. Joanne Brown said something very interesting, and it's an argument that flies that is just so ironic. She says, you know, if you cut these salaries, I don't know who's going to be interested in running for public office. If you cut it from 85 down to 55, I don't even think I would be interested, she says. Yet here she is, running for senator for that office that costs only $55,000 to
You
her.
need the money, Cello.
Well, I think she just wants the power.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this has absolutely nothing to do with money. But there she was making that argument and saying that, you know, she's been there, she's done that, she's put in the experience. She has the master's degree in political science. She's put in her years, and the reason that she's working so hard at the port is because she's been given a competitive salary and all this stuff. So why, Joanne? Why are you running for senator? If 3 years ago, just 3 years ago, you said $55,000 just wasn't going to cut it for you to go back into public service, why are you running for senator now? Because
The corrupted wants to fight the corruption.
that bill passed.
Yeah.
The Mike St. Nicholas bill passed, and the senators' salaries were rolled back to $55,000.
Mm-hmm.
So she's just defeating her own argument.
Yep.
You know?
Especially your own argument that sound bites die.
That
Yeah.
soundbite. I love that. You captured that one,
Yeah.
right? The sound bites die. No, they don't, sister. They live on in Kandit fame.
And welcome to Kandit Not News, baby.
Oh, and Joanne, you're absolutely right. You know, we're not real news. Matter of fact, from now to November, we are going to be the most biased people you have ever encountered in your life. But I mean, we have to be. We have to tell you what we believe in our hearts is the truth.
Right.
Otherwise, we would just be up here just regurgitating information and lying about what it all means.
Exactly.
You know, how else are we supposed to be honest with you?
You better strap your boots on, lady, because this is going to be one hell of a ride.
They have size 465 boots over at Ross. You know, I don't think many people. It's always in the section where they have lots of shoes left.
Yeah.
So Joanne, you can go there,
Yeah.
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yeah.
So, I mean, this is just another example of Joanne Brown, the politician, the corrupt politician, and now there's a whole audit that says that she did illegal things, that the board did illegal things, that she was involved in illegal things. There is Louis Baza, the assistant general manager of the Port Authority, who in his findings regarding the Port 7 said that the charges brought, or not even the charges, but the allegations brought by the former general manager, Joanne Brown, and the former Port Board chairwoman, Daniel J. Tidinko, against the Port 7 were not substantiated. You know what that means? In like real terms, it means they were lies. All of these things on the record about Joanne Brown, and she has the audacity to run for senator and to say that she's doing it to tackle corruption within our government. I know that fighting corruption will compel the corrupt. Give me a break, woman. We are the ones fighting corruption.
She wanted that soundbite.
Like,
She thought that was going to sound good.
all of a sudden, it's trendy, right? It's
Yeah.
trendy to talk
Yeah.
about corruption in
Yeah.
the government.
Yeah. And you're here to fight it.
Whatever,
Put your money
Joanne.
where your mouth is.
You were part of the problem, and the fact that you cannot even admit that means you will continue to be part of the problem. When we come back, we are going to bring you a real corruption fighter, Candidate X from the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. We are so blessed to have her in studio with us tonight. When we come back, give us 3 minutes.
Funerals actually take a lot more planning than I expected. With us using island cuisine for the first time, of course we were iffy, but once they came and showed us their service, their food, tasted their food and everything, we definitely use them again because their service and food is just awesome.
I'll ride with the horses, I'll swim through the sea, I'll climb to the mountain tops. Won't you come follow me? I'll take time to notice all that I see. And after I've come so far, you know where I'll be. I'll fly away, fly away, fly away, fly away home. I'll fly away, fly away, fly away, fly away home. But life is a vision, that's how it should be. The world is a canvas, and the choices are free. At the end of the journey, where all is complete, they'll all wonder where I've gone, but you know where I'll be. I'll fly away, fly away, fly away, fly away home. I'll fly away, fly away, fly away, fly away home. Our dreams last forever, for all that we know. The roads come together, and that's where we'll go.
The Pampas
and elite wish we go away.
Because we are
Real and direct.
No interest owns us.
And we have no interest but
The truth. Together we are exposing
corruption.
Together we will reform criminal justice.
Together,
We are fighting violence
Against women and children.
we here at
Candid.
will shine the light.
On every corner of darkness.
Together we are giving a voice.
To the voiceless.
And forgotten.
Stay lit.
Together.
together,
Together.
Together
We are giving a voice to the voiceless and forgotten.
We are Candid News Group.
Many accolades and celebrations. Welcome back. It is not very often in the Mariana Islands, in my experience, that you see people who are as committed to ending the barbarias, the systemic corruption, the wrongdoing as Selena Roberto Babauta. Welcome so much to our
Thank
studios.
you.
It is really an honor to have you.
The honor is all mine.
Whatever, we're starstruck here.
The honor is all mine.
Well, thank you so much. And So you are running for the House of Representatives, Precinct 1,
That's correct.
right? Right.
Yep.
Why? Why did you decide to run?
You know, I was tired of sitting by just passively seeing people destroy the system. And it is a broken system, Troy. And we need people who are willing to pick up the fight for the people.
And you're willing to do that?
Yes.
You have the well. Okay, before we get to your experience, can you tell us? You know, you're from Saipan, right?
I was born and raised in Saipan.
We're not for you. Have some relatives there, right? I don't know if I do. I don't know if Ralph Torres is my relative. If he's
Do you
from
wanna
William
be?
Cooktis, I mean, you know, if he is, those are the cards God deals me, right? But,
Yeah.
but oh my gosh, hold on, I forgot something. Hold on,
Okay.
hold on 1 second. Don't laugh at my shorts. Would you like some Cheetos? Now, I did not get them at Walmart for $1.69, but I did get them at 76 Circle K. And I don't think, you know how they have the regular Cheetos Crunch?
Yeah.
These are the Cheetos Puffs.
Yes.
Very, very appropriate for our discussion about the wrongdoing in the Commonwealth. You're going to pass? Or you're
No,
gonna say-
I'll get
You
some.
have-
I-
All right.
I can't be rude like that.
Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Can we do the
Yes.
challenge?
Yes, the Holy Smokes Challenge?
Yes, yes.
Okay, are you going to go first?
You know, we'll all go together.
Okay.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Holy smokes.
Holy smokes! This is awesome.
This is awesome.
You did it best. Hands down.
Winner, 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 chicken dinner.
Holy smokes.
Holy sh-
Actually, this is really good.
It is.
Family
You treated it
variety.
with Tabasco.
Oh.
There's this better than Tabasco.
I know.
It's called Tochi. Toghe.
If anybody knows who makes that tochi sauce, can you please let us know? There's no number or anything on. And the guy who gave it to us, we were at a restaurant in Barragata, and he didn't leave his number.
Yeah, and it is super better than Tabasco.
Yeah.
And I'm already halfway through the bottle. I need to get a new bottle. Anyway, who's your family?
Okay. Many people in the CNMI know my mother is Maria Borja Roberto,
Okay.
better known as TB.
Okay.
Everybody called her that.
Is she still around?
No, she's not.
Okay.
Both of my parents are deceased. My father is Andres Ada Roberto.
Okay.
I was born and raised in Saipan, born and raised in District 2, actually.
Okay.
So I am endemic to Precinct 2, where Tina Sablan
Okay.
is currently a representative of.
That's
Yeah.
where she beat out the Speaker of the Legislature, right?
Ralph Dimapan.
Yeah,
That's correct.
yeah.
Yes.
In an upset victory.
Yes. Yeah, Tina landslide in that.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad, because the things I've read about Ralph Demapan are just not good for the people of the Commonwealth. Anyway, so who else?
That's about it. People know me. A lot of people know me in Saipan, but for those who don't, I have always believed, and many people know from my posts on social media, that I will not keep quiet.
Good.
There is just no way they can keep me silent
We know.
on issues that affect our people's lives, really.
Have you ever been afraid though that your outspokenness might endanger the jobs of relatives or even your own life or the lives of your family?
I have thought about that. I'm grateful. I have my husband, who's a retired Army,
Okay.
and I depend on him a lot.
Okay.
So
that's
but
your
other than that,
protection.
I can pretty much hold my own, I think.
All right. On.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
So
our woman power.
don't let the color of my lipstick fool you.
How about your husband's family?
My husband's family is originally born and raised in San Roque.
Okay.
And I love that village. They are the last village in the cinema that really hold on to our cultural, beliefs of respect and everything. Then everybody in the neighborhood really has that inborn in them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how about tell us about your experience?
I worked for the governor's office for 16 years under 4 different administrations, 4 different governors, from the time of the late Larry Guerrero in 1991 up until the end of the term of Governor Juan N. Babalta and Lieutenant Governor Diego T. Benavente.
So you've worked for both Democrats and Republicans.
Yes. The Democrat in between that was the late Furlon
He recently
Tenorio.
passed away.
Yes.
God bless his soul.
The late Furlon Tenorio and Lieutenant Governor Jesus C. Borja.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you know, Kandit has been keen on the corruption happening in the Commonwealth. Thank you. I think it was our first story was in November of last year, and it was following the raids into the governor's office, the governor's house, the casino, and our initial interest was it was because of the connection to Guam. It was because Phil Tidinko, the former chief prosecutor, his office was raided. He was actually pictured, you know, standing around while the FBI was raiding. Then we found out that everything started from a lien in April of 2019 that had Dr. Carmen Fernandez's name on it as the owner of IPI. And we thought, well, this is weird. And then everything just sort of cascaded from there. And we started
Well, they tried to bring their corruption here to get us corrupted.
Yeah, they tried to pay us off.
They tried to pay us off to spin things over there in Saipan.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys turned that down. I really am.
Yeah, we told them to go suck an egg.
Yeah.
And you know, it was near Christmas too.
Oh man.
We really could have used that Christmas money.
And we were super, super, super broke.
We were super poor. Oh my goodness. Anyways. Oh, by the way, you're welcome to advertise with Kandit. I'm just kidding. But a little bit. But anyway. So, this corruption, and I've seen your posts about it. I've seen other people's posts about it. You were one of the earliest ones who started posting about it, along with Patricia Guerrero and her sister Edith. And Edith was a victim, an early victim of the corruption of the Torres administration.
When she was terminated.
Yes, because she stood her ground.
Yes.
And didn't want to do something illegal that the governor was ordering her to do. Now, as someone who lives in Saipan, what is the climate actually like?
Well, I've been in Guam for a few months now, so
because of COVID.
Yeah. But you know, people text me, people call me daily, from the States, from the CNMI. Just this morning, somebody messaged me that, hey, you know, I just finished talking to some family members in Precinct 1. I heard you're running, so I'm asking them to vote for you because we need you in there. And I hope that people do wake up, and I think they have. For the most part, they have. And I before going into that, I really want to thank you guys for exposing a lot of these documents, because people were just, I think we're not, you know, really believing it. But when those documents came out, there was really no way that anybody could have said Kandit was lying or Kandit was making these things up.
I mean, Robert Hunter said that we were lying. You know, that guy, let's just talk about him for just a second, you know, and you don't have to say anything. I understand. Politics is a numbers game. You want to get every vote that you can, right? Yep. But let's, however you want to participate in this. Robert Hunter has said a lot of things to the people of the CNMI that were just not true.
True.
So does Kevin Bautista, so does Robert Guerrero. It just seems like a culture within the Torres administration to not be truthful with the people. And so...
Well, Robert Hunter has personally attacked her.
Yeah.
Really?
On our investigation, there was something he put out that the Babalta administration gave 18 employees money, raises, illegal pay, according to Robert Hunter. And Selena was a victim of that.
Yeah.
Oh, what did he say?
He said that, okay, well, let me put that to rest right now, right here.
Okay.
When I was working for Governor Juan Babalta, we were due up for a salary increase, and he tried to do so.
Okay.
But we were thankful that the legislature was doing their part at that time.
Okay.
I don't know about the current legislature. I can't speak
Oh,
for
we're
them.
going to talk about them in a second.
But back then Speaker Heinz-Hoff Snyder called it out and said, you can't do this. This is illegal.
Okay.
It's not in accordance with the law.
You mean raises, giving raises?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what Governor Babauta did at that time was immediately rectify that
Okay.
and had our salaries conform to what the salary cap was. So I never received illegal salary, unlike cabinet members now who tried to justify that I deserve this salary.
But even if they deserved it, let's just say they did deserve it. The law is the law. The law says that this is the salary for the Secretary of Cultural Affairs.
Yes.
This is the salary for the Secretary of Finance. All that stuff, right?
Uh-huh.
And they're exceeding it when they take overtime and when they have 2 jobs. They say that they work at the same exact time.
That is, holding 2 positions is explicitly against the Planning and Budgeting Act of the CNMI. You cannot do that. There's just no way around it. Cabinet members are not allowed to receive overtime or any type of pay above their salary because they get paid for the work they perform, not for the work, they do.
Yeah.
So that's why they're capped.
So, Selena, if you were a member of the House of Representatives, if you were a congresswoman in the minority or majority, whatever, and you're running as a Democrat, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Whether you're in the minority or the majority, let's say you were there right now, what would you be doing to hold these people accountable for breaking the law?
Definitely a lot more than what the current legislature is doing. They have to be held accountable for it. And I think it is high time, the majority has had documents they've requested by the minority on documents on, Governor Ralph Torres's travel and reimbursements and all kinds of documents. And they've sat on it for 7 months.
Mm-hmm. We know the documents that were provided by Kandit News.
That's right.
Yes.
They've sat on it for 7 months. I think it is time we involve the judicial branch. And that is what I would be doing.
Okay.
Because I have come to know that even though you issue a subpoena, authority rests with the Attorney General to hold those people accountable if they blow it off, or decide not to go with the subpoena that is issued by the legislature. There's really no repercussions for blowing off a legislative subpoena.
Wow.
At least that I.
And what I've noticed is, except for the minority in the House right now, and Senator Paul Manglona in the Senate, well, basically most of the Republicans in the legislature have been either complacent or complicit in the Torres administration's shenanigans.
And I think it's time the people put a stop to that. They've been in office for 2 years, nearly 2 years now. And they haven't done anything to hold the governor accountable.
Would you take a salary allowance or a monthly allowance?
No.
You would not take a monthly allowance, the $5,000?
In fact, I have plans for that as well.
Okay.
I wish it was just abolished altogether.
Okay.
Really.
Okay. Now, what about, let's talk about specifically wasteful spending by the administration and what you as a representative would do to rein that in.
I think reform needs to be made to laws. There's some laws in the book that don't even have the punishment portion, the penalty portion of it.
Oh, so it's just illegal, but there's no remedy for
some
the illegality.
do, but like for travel, they were instructed. Finance is responsible for the regulations of that. And as far as I know, in the last 10 years, they have not come up with regulations in the books that are codified that speak to the penalty portion. Some do, like travel of first class.
So if I take a first class, I'm the governor. I take a first class, and then it's illegal, which has happened,
it's
right?
in the law.
Nothing happens to me.
Yes.
I don't pay that back. Nothing's going to happen to me.
That part is in the law.
Okay.
For every segment of first class travel by any government employee, there is $1,000 penalty. And I've seen I've read the law on that. There is a $1,000 penalty. So in some of the documents that you guys have published, one travel alone, I calculated, was like $14,000 in penalties.
Yes.
Alone.
Yeah.
Just one trip.
One trip.
Because every airplane ride that Ralph Torres and Diane Torres took,
Yes.
they were traveling first class.
Yeah.
Did you see the one where they were in Rhoda and it was Ralph Torres and Diane Torres, but there were 3 executive suites that were used under their names?
Yes, I believe I've come across that. Yeah.
I mean,
there's a lot of.
what goes through your mind when you see these things?
It's inappropriate. It's immoral. And I think they need to be held accountable. Really.
Does it make you angry?
It does.
So delve deeper. Tell us. Describe this anger. Describe this immorality in your head. Like
Anger more towards disgust because of the people suffering.
Exactly.
I know that feeling. I feel
I
it
was
all the
gonna go into
time.
that. You know, people are hurting, Troy.
I know.
And I can't even imagine, you know, their pain and suffering. I mean, I've been in their shoes before, really. So what I do is I try to give back what I can, you know, and I don't give because I have more than enough. I give because I know what it's like to be in their shoes.
Yeah.
We have people, Congressman Probst, doing these giving tables that I've seen. And it's painful to watch that because they are my relatives that go to these and
it is in our culture that nobody goes hungry.
Yes.
That's not our culture.
Are people going hungry, Selena, in Saipan?
Yes.
How about in Rhoda and Tinian?
I'm pretty sure they are because Rhoda and Tinian have a higher cost of living than
Because
the
of the
CNMI.
shipping and all that.
Yes. It's very expensive to live in Tinian and Rhoda. So they have even a harder time, you know, with all these furloughs and everything. And they don't have, you know, much material things to begin with. What I'm talking about is industries to help their economy.
I mean,
it's hard.
If I were in your shoes, I wouldn't even know where to begin. Like if someone asked me if I was running for precinct 1 in Saipan, what are you gonna do to turn the economy around? I wouldn't even know where to start
difficult,
with that.
And for that, I ask for the people's patience because there's no money to do anything. But there's a lot of things that legislators still can do that are not costly.
Okay.
And I wrote some ideas on my phone because I've been thinking about this, you know, in my journey for candidacy for precinct 1. And not so much in terms of, well, there's one idea I had for revenue generating idea, but I would prefer not to disclose that at this time.
Okay.
But what
Timing
I
is
did,
everything in politics.
What I did want to talk about and touch upon is like one of the issues that our people during this suffering are currently facing is rentals. And there has been no money, no rental assistance or relief of any kind that has been given out to these people. So I want to touch upon that issue. What I'd like to see in the books of the CNMI laws is protecting, you know, I am in a unique position, I'll tell you that, because I have had my own property management business for more than 2 decades.
Okay.
But I'm in a unique position that I am both landlord and tenant.
Okay.
So I know both sides of the coin. So what I wanted to touch upon is protect renters from exorbitant or excessive rental increases during, whether it's during a pandemic or a disaster. It doesn't have to, you know, a disaster doesn't have to come for lawmakers to do this, but protect them from renewal protections. There's a whole bunch of laws pertaining to housing that nobody has ever thought of to protect our locals and renters particularly. You know, there's construction harassment that we can prevent. Some landlords will do that.
Is this where they go in and they
Start doing
they
construction
say,
to
we're gonna
push
do
them out.
Yeah.
Just,
That's terrible.
Yeah.
That happens a lot?
Yeah.
Not in Saipan, but I have heard of some cases.
Okay. Are you afraid that there's gonna be a homelessness situation in Saipan soon?
Not at this time, and the reason why is because a lot of our locals will bring in family members to prevent that.
But that's homelessness in itself.
Exactly,
You
but
know?
they help out. So I'm not too worried about that at this time, but I do believe protection laws need to be in place.
Does Saipan have the same problem? Okay, Guam has a problem of actually getting people registered and voting, right? We have 160,000 people, and how many people are registered to vote?
Less than
Troy?
70,000.
And then how many do
60,
actually come out?
Like
30?
50,000 or something.
Right,
Or
between-
no, maybe less than that. I think
So
the last
does
governor
Saipan
only
have
won by
that?
18,000.
In any jurisdiction, I think you're going to come across that. But the good thing about us is, and this is specifically to the millennials, those who are in college now, there are 2 scholarship programs in the CNMI, the Saipan Shefa and the CNMI Scholarship. And to be able to avail of the scholarship, it is tied into being a registered voter.
Okay.
So in the millennial portion, for those who are aspiring to go to college, no, we don't have that issue. They have to register to vote in order to be able to apply.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the other big program that is in the CNMI government is the medical referral program, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's because of the lack of medical procedures that can be done.
Yes.
So a lot of the most vulnerable people rely on this program. What's the history of this program and what problems is it running into now?
It's always been in our government because we don't have the facility to accommodate every single ailment, you know. So we do need some, and we don't have specialized doctors. CHCC is trying hard to recruit them, but it's just such a remote area, it's so difficult, and we don't offer the competitive salaries that mainland hospitals do.
Mm-hmm.
So we've always had it in our government to refer people for specialized cases, but now we refer people just for MRIs because, you know, to have an MRI done because we don't have the machine in Saipan.
Wow.
And the problem that the medical referral program is currently facing is one, it's under the governor's office, so that has a tendency to be politically motivated.
Wow.
Meaning, like if I'm the governor's friend, I'm going to get bumped up if I need this.
Possibly.
And there's 5 people ahead of me, I get to get bumped up.
Possibly, but the medical referral program doesn't go by who came first. It's by need. Yeah. So if you have a really pressing issue, they'll send you.
Okay.
Yeah. The problem with that is they constantly underfund it every year.
The legislature.
Yeah. Every year, medical referral says we need this X amount of money, which is about 16 to 18 million every year, but they only give them 2 to 3 million. And with this reduction in budget for 2021, I haven't seen the budget proposal, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be cut down further. So every year they run a deficit.
And now, so we were just having this discussion before we went on the air. Now there's a situation where there are hundreds, if not thousands, of government employees who've been furloughed and who don't have health insurance.
That is correct.
What are you hearing about all that? That sounds like a nightmare.
It is, and I feel for families, mostly who have children. They are advised by the government to go apply for Medicaid, and even that is a problem because the CNMI government doesn't contribute what they're supposed to.
The matching funds.
Yes, that's
correct. And it doesn't have the wherewithal right now to
to do so.
Because they're giving Robert Guerrero overtime and hiring his relatives. Yeah. So,
Possibly.
His
Possibly.
son's sleeping in the break room.
So yeah, with his son
Yeah,
sleeping
yeah.
in the break room. Someone said maybe that was his lunch hour. I don't know. That just anyway. So, Selena, so there are things that you want to do to reform
Yes.
government as a representative. It sounds like you have a heart for people who are struggling right now. It sounds like you have a plan regarding housing
Yes.
for especially renters or
And
to
a
make
plan
housing
for the
more.
economy, for
Yeah.
financial.
There's a whole bunch, yeah.
Okay.
I wrote down.
Well, I hope we get to see that so we can let
Sure.
people know, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Who is representing Precinct 1 right now?
Right now we have in incumbents
Incumbents, yeah.
there are 6. So we have Representative Roman Benavente, who is a Republican. We have Representative Louis John Castro, who is a Republican. We have Representative Joseph Flores, who is an independent, ran as an independent, but
Caucus with the Republicans.
caucuses
yes.
with the Republican.
Yeah.
We have Congressman Ed Probst, our biggest champion in there.
Biba.
And we have Representative Janet Maritita, who won,
Ekwa de sati corrupted zoo.
who ran as a Republican. And then we have one more. Who is it? Oh, we have Representative Joseph Lee Pon, who is a Republican.
It is so Ed Probst is the only minority member from Precinct 1. Then.
Yeah, he's my. Yeah.
Well, Joseph Flores.
But yeah, we consider him a Republican. Let's just get that out of the way.
Yeah. Is Congresswoman Maritita running for the Senate though? That's what we've heard.
That's what I've heard. And I heard from a reliable source because they heard it directly from her.
And that she might be running as an independent. She might be changing her party.
I'm not
stripes.
sure about that.
Okay.
I haven't seen anything come out whether she has announced her candidacy,
Okay.
but I did hear from sources that she was planning to run in as a candidate for the Senate,
Okay.
which means she would probably go against the incumbent senator who is up for re-election, Senator 6'2",
Igisomar.
Igisomar.
I think we did his allowances. I think
I'm not.
Yes, we
did
did.
you? I'm not sure.
we did his allowances. Is it $5,000? Yeah, I think it is $5,000 a month that he's been taking. Let's go to some of these comments because they're
funny.
Because they're very nice toward. Oh shoot, the thing scrolled
Oh, they
up.
are?
Yeah, there were people saying Biba Selena, Biba Democrat.
I didn't see any.
I have a lot, Troy. Here.
No, go ahead.
No, you read it.
I'm blind without my glasses, so.
It's cool. Jacob Nakamura says, when the Saipan governor gets arrested, I'm going to see if I can send Cheetos to him inside the federal prison. Then I'm going to send a note with it that says, quote, I miss you, Papi Chulo 670, love, Robert Hunter. And maybe Robert Hunter will be right there next to him. Jill Pareto says, yeah, I like the show. Rob has been back and forth from Guam and the NMI for a while. The Poggenwog trip was Taurus' idea. One of the vids, Rob actually says it to the governor. Is that the Arrington guy?
Yeah.
Charles Magnolia says, it's true, Rhoda people are suffering. Up to this time, Pua hasn't been released yet. Esther Farron says, Biba, Selena, Roberto Babalta
Esther
for our
Farron?
Precinct 1.
Esther Farron?
F-sound,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you, Esther.
Mike Rosansky says, honestly, I don't blame the guy, deer meat for dinner. I blame Governor Torres. DMFD is just a howly guy who believed everything the goat told him, so who do you blame? I just love our viewers. Isabel Matsunaga says, Biba with 3 blue hearts.
Okay.
Nola Hicks
Thank
says,
you, Isabel.
Nola Hicks says, Biba
she?
Selena 2020. She calls you Karina.
No?
Is that your nickname?
No,
Or
no, no.
Maybe it's an autocorrect.
Yeah.
Karina, I'm sorry. She was responding to Karina Magofnia, who says, yes, Biba, Democratic woman. Sorry. Nola Hicks says, Taurus administration equals hashtag spin city, hashtag lead to mislead, the most dishonest and dishonorable governor and lieutenant governor to serve the Commonwealth. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat. At the end of the day, we're all suffering because of their lies and continuous corruption.
That's true.
It's time for change, CNMI. Vote for Selena Babalta
Oh,
in
thank
Precinct
you.
1.
Who is that?
This is Nola.
Oh,
That firecracker.
I love her.
And vote for more amazing Democratic women in 2020. We will fight for you, CNMI. It's time.
It definitely is.
Let's see. We in the CNMI desperately need better leaders. Our leaders now are plunging our Commonwealth into the ground, says Ignacio de la Cruz. Let's talk about that.
Okay, what about it?
He says, our leaders now are plunging our Commonwealth into the ground. That's a very passionate thing that he is saying. Do you feel that?
I have felt that, Troy.
Yeah.
I have felt that for the last 2 years.
Would you have run 2 years ago, 4 years ago?
In fact, it was a toss-up between my husband and I.
Okay.
So he ran in 2018. People have asked him to run this year, election year, and they're like, if you run this time, you're going to win. But my husband has decided, because of the many years that I have supported him in his career, he has decided to return that favor to me, and so he's fully in support of my candidacy.
Awesome. Charles Magnolia says she will be a great candidate to be with the current House minority team under the Democratic Party. Hey, well, what if you're a part of the majority?
That's true.
Right?
All the more better.
Yeah.
Is this Master Charles?
Josiah Ray Garrido says San Roque with a red heart.
Read the one right below.
Yeah,
that
they're
one.
San Roque. I love San Roque. They're one heart.
Lunetta Tanisongo says to Jacob Nakamura, like I said earlier, this is the best PSA warning I have heard all day long. Well, oh, just another... What is that?
Fish.
Flipping around on the same... What is that referring to, though?
Joanne, she likes the lady,
Oh,
that
it's about
lady.
Joanne.
No, she, on our live earlier, or our post earlier, she's saying all the PSAs that are coming out, ours are the best because it means it matters.
Isabel Matsunaga says, let's go, Auntie Selena Biba.
Isabel is my daughter's classmate. Thank you,
Okay.
Isabel.
Shauna Indalecio says, holy smokes, this is awesome.
Thank you, Shauna.
Declutterbug says, Biba Democrat.
Thank you. Yes,
John Palau
Eva.
says, cannot holy smokes my shoe pal. I said, ooh, hot. Glenn Hunter says, really have to focus on somehow ensuring we have a free and fair election. We haven't had that in quite some time.
That is in the plan, Glenn. I hope to make changes and reform the election law. We need to make changes there. We all know what happened in 2018.
Let's talk about that, then let's talk about Glenn, okay? Because Glenn is like
Another
just
advocate.
a hero
Yes.
of anti-corruption in the CNMI.
Yes.
But let's first talk about that audit that came out from, was it from the Election Commission? No,
no.
it was from the public auditor.
Yes.
That just came this close to saying that they were not sure who actually won certain elections in the 2018 elections because of several factors, including I think it was 1,500 ballots that they don't know where it was printed. It was not printed from an official source, plus major discrepancies in ballots coming from Rhoda and Tinian. I mean,
There were many issues with the 2018 election.
Okay.
What about the lady that was getting votes in Washington? What
Yes.
about that one?
I believe she was the Election Commission Executive Director, right?
Yes.
On
She was.
a government paid trip.
They took some officials of the election commission out there on the pretense that they were registering voters, and that let me put this hasn't happened in ages. We don't send out election commission people to register.
They were there to campaign for the Tourist Administration. That's what was
Possibly.
happening.
I mean, even Guam doesn't send their election people, officials to go register.
No.
See.
No. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
up to the candidates to go and reach out to
Yeah.
people who live abroad. But
Yeah.
but are you a little afraid? Can I have one of those? Because Selena brought us lumpia, and I've been dying to eat one.
That sauce is good.
I made it.
This sauce?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get fatter. So are you concerned about the integrity of this upcoming election? Especially considering that Governor Ralph Torres wants to remain in power and needs a legislature that will not impeach him?
I think everybody is concerned
Okay.
about the election process this year. We've all seen, and only because we've seen what happened in 2018. And this is exactly the reason, and I've posted on this before. When you don't conduct fair and honest elections, people are gonna, that's the reason why we hear people say, basta zuman bota. And that's so true. We try to encourage them to come back and vote because that's the only way. Your vote is the only way we can make changes. Yeah.
But how do you tell people that the vote will be fair?
Unfortunately, unless there is reform in the laws, we don't need more laws. We just need to touch up on a lot of them.
Do you think the Democrat, and Nola's watching right now, should the Democratic Party, should both parties actually formulate some sort of security system around the ballots, or?
The law specifically says it rests with the public auditor's office and the attorney general's office and Department of Public Safety.
Okay, so 1/3 of that already is corrupt.
Yeah. Bill 2.
Well, the attorney general, I don't know if he's corrupt, but he's basically he's golfing on Wednesdays, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully he wakes up, right? Hopefully he does more, but
yeah,
this is a problem.
It is, and we just need to keep the pressure on these people. I think that's the only thing we can do right now, because we are powerless. We on the outside, unless the people can really muster, their support and their pressure to hold these people accountable. That's the only way.
So basically what you're saying is there needs to be overwhelming support for the right people so that even if they cheat, it won't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yes. I just want to read 2 comments. One's from Tanya Mendiola. She says, need to do something about the harassment and threats within the workforce as well.
Okay.
I think she's talking about, the bosses telling the people how to.
I encourage them. There are laws in the books already in place, Tanya. I encourage you, come in as a whistleblower.
People have.
You will be protected. Come in as a whistleblower. It may take a little while because investigations involve time. They're time consuming and they need to get all their documentations, But please don't stop. Don't give up.
That's an important point because there are people who feel that they should give up, especially
we have.
Oh.
We have,
victims of abuse, sexual assault within the government by high-ranking officials. The complaints are brought. The EEOC complaints are filed. Civil rights complaints being filed, and everything just seems to end at the governor's office. It dies at the governor's office.
Oh, and you have freedom fighters now that are not willing to let that happen.
And we wish that those freedom fighters were in the legislature because it's supposed to be the legislature's job to hold the governor accountable, isn't it?
Yes.
Is that what please say that that's something that you're committed to doing?
I am committed.
Yeah.
Very, very committed. And people, know me. They know my personality. They know I don't settle for those kinds of things.
You don't back down?
No.
Let's talk about Glenn Hunter because he hasn't backed
down.
One
more.
Oh, okay.
One more before we get to Glenn.
But holy smokes, though, this really is awesome.
Yes, it is. Karina McGuffnia says, loving your energy, Selena. Can't wait to meet you in person and do our thing. Hopefully next month.
Sooner than that, I think.
Is Karina a candidate?
Yes, she is. Okay. She's a candidate for the Democrats. Please vote for her. She's running in Precinct 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Which consists of Oliai and Garapam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Glenn Hunter has been at this since, what year is that now? 2011?
A long time.
It's been quite a while.
Yeah. Glenn has been a part of this journey for many, many years. And I truly admire him and I'm inspired by you, Glenn.
Yeah.
He has not given up.
After all this time.
He's been fired from his job in a civilian workplace, not in the government.
Oh, because of pressure?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
He's talking, or he's...
What's he saying? What's Glenn saying?
He says any closed seats would have been stolen by discrepancies and fraudulent acts in past elections.
Yeah.
This year, with the pandemic cover, we will see even more funny business. Policing and oversight of the election solely falls on DPS.
Yeah.
Sadly, OAG only provides advice and office if the public auditor only after the fact.
Oh.
Yes.
Also, it's Robert Guerrero's group, huh?
Yep.
Well, Robert Guerrero just disrespected Tina in the house, and I found that really disrespectful.
Yeah.
And imagine how that man acts with his crown at his job.
And at his home.
You know what I mean?
Going back to the 20 elections and touching up on what Glenn said, there were specific things that the election commission in Saipan were supposed to do. Like, for example, precinct 1 consists of 3 different polling places, Dandan, Kobler, and San Antonio.
Okay.
By law, they're supposed to segregate those ballots and count them individually.
Okay.
They didn't. They bunched everything up and ran it to the machine. And a lot of them were rejected by the machine. So that, is where the public auditor, I think, found discrepancies that they had alluded to in their audit report.
And there was something else that was significant. I think it was the lack of judges or the, gosh, I can't remember what it was. Something very significant in that audit of the election that I thought, geez, I can't believe this thing was actually certified. There were some races where, the outcome, the math and the outcome exceeded the suspicion of cheating, right?
Yeah,
so, there were other races that were within the margin of that suspicion of cheating.
I'll say this, and I can say about it because it was my husband that was involved. He didn't make it to the House of Representatives, Precinct 1, by 14 votes. So certainly we can, do the math there.
Yeah.
I mean, one day they said he was leading by 34 votes. The very next day he was losing by 14 votes.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
there's, and see the way the law is written, we chose not to contest it because it was costly. You have to hire your own attorney. You have to go to court for it. You can't contest it with the election commission. It goes directly to the courts to determine, what went wrong and who was at fault.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, this has absolutely nothing to do with Saipan. I just really am interested in your opinion. Do you ever watch the Guam legislature in session?
Yes, I do. Through you guys. Only through you guys.
Do you laugh too?
Some, yeah. I laugh at your headlines when you say, get your beer ready or get your alcohol ready. I said, oh no, this is going to be good.
So, when we watched the CNMI legislature in action, we were just in awe. We were like, wow, they are so professional. They know what they're doing. So I have to say, I think you guys should be proud of the way at least your legislature conducts itself. That's not to... Now, we're setting aside, of course, the backroom stuff and the secret stuff that goes on.
That happens. That happens a lot in Saipan.
Did you see the story we did about the IPI vendor list and how so many public
I think you've
officials...
done a couple, if I'm not mistaken, yeah.
There were several public officials who were on that list.
Yes.
My goodness.
That's amazing. And I can't really talk much about it because I'm doing some other stuff. A report, actually. I'm doing a report on it. Yeah.
I'm glad someone's doing something about it.
Yeah. And a report on a whole lot of other stuff, really.
Is there anything else you wanted to talk to our audience about?
Or
to the people.
To the people, to the CNMI.
My message really is to the women, specifically to the mothers. Hita ni manona. Un bosu hita ni man gigimin. Un plotu hita ni man yotsutsu. Kumonana zo kumintutu samzo pago. Hutungo sinenten mizo. Zan sacrificial mizo para famagon mizo. Husiente enona sacrificio. Hutungo guinifin mizo para para famagun mizo. Mega giza hamza tumungo hazina nohu sitibi. God bless her soul. I'm so proud of her. Intingo na fafatsotso. Enno na legacy hukakad ka. Giningwiza. Tibay hupara, tibay hu osun. Jan tibay hu zadzas. Mumumuji jan promotehi I interes mizo. Jan I interes famagon mizo. Sagwiza ha jan I interesso. And also I want to give honor to my husband's service, to all the veterans and their families. No one can deny my commitment, my dedication to military families and the veterans themselves. So I hope that this November I will be worthy of your sacrifices. And I ask you to please vote for me and to other Democratic candidates. We all have different backgrounds. We all have different education levels. But each one of us brings something to the table. So we may be good on the individual level, but we will be better together. So please vote for the Democratic candidates this November. Thank you.
And that was beautiful, by the way. That was, and I understood most of the shmoral.
I understood some, and I felt it.
Yeah, I felt it.
Yes.
But what
Thank
she
you.
means, ladies and gentlemen, is the Democrats in the CNMI, okay? She didn't say the Democrats in Guam. Big qualification. Kandit News is in the Marianas. So we have to segregate this, you know? I'm just kidding. But Biba...
Thank you.
Selena.
Thank you so much. I pray.
Thank you for coming on, Kandit. It's
Thank you,
a great
guys.
pleasure. We are honored.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
if I was a registered voter, precinct 1, I would absolutely vote for you. I
was going to ask you that.
Yeah,
You know,
I
I
would
was going to turn this
absolutely
around
vote.
and ask you.
Oh, go for it.
Would you vote for me? You know.
Absolutely. I wish you
Thank
were
you.
running on Guam. You know, we just, as if you've been watching Kandit and the Guam stuff that we do, I'm sure you see just how much of a deficit we are in with integrity and also competence. Like, we have a competence problem.
We have that
on
as
Guam.
well. We have that as well. A lot of it, in fact.
Really? You guys play it off well then? 'Cause-
I'm not talking specifically about the legislature throughout.
Oh, yeah.
Well, right now in the tourist administration, you best believe
There-
we know
there's
there's
some
incompetence
incompetence, yeah,
there.
yeah.
There's a lot of brown noses. There's a lot of jelly roll donuts. You know, there's a lot.
A little bit more about my background. Like I said, I was born and raised in Saipan. It is the culture that raised me, my language. So I will go on defending, protecting that. And also, I'm a graduate of Chaminade University of Honolulu, concentrations in management and another degree in criminal justice.
Oh, okay.
So I am the right person for you to put in. I'm telling you, you need me just as I need you.
Nice.
I need you more on November 3rd.
Oh, the election's on November 3rd.
That's correct.
Oh, we
Second
probably-
Tuesday of November.
We should,
and I think,
we should probably mark that down.
I think that's
on our calendar.
yeah. So I hope people will wake up and
People are waking up.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people.
thanks to you
speaking out
guys.
now.
Thanks
Yeah.
to you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my shorts are on full display. I look like a Notre Dame high school student right now. And that's my alma mater. What's your alma mater?
So it's interesting. I didn't.
Don't say Academy of Our Lady of
No.
Guam. Oh, okay.
It was interesting because it was only in college. During my classes, the first week, you're required to introduce yourself and give a little bit of your background. So in college, I noticed that my whole entire schooling career was all in the Catholic school system, from pre-kindergarten all the way, I have come full circle and graduated from a Catholic university.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what high school did you graduate from?
Mount Carmel High School.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a knight.
That's their.
That's their mascot.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm a royal.
Oh, where's that from?
That's Norder, as we call it in Telefofo, Notre Dame High School.
Notre
Hey, I'm
Dame.
a GED.
But before GED, what was it? Simon Sanchez?
Yeah, because they wouldn't allow me
Because
into
academies didn't want you.
my parents, my uncle paid for the registration and everything, and they're like, "Sorry, no, she is not accepted in here. Put her somewhere else."
You know, Troy, I mentioned that I was very proud of my mother and her legacy. My parents actually never worked a day in government in their lives.
Oh wow.
They were entrepreneurs, they were private business owners. And in fact, I'm not ashamed to say, my mother toiled under the hot sun, selling fish on the side of the road to put us
wow.
to school. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
To put you through school.
All of us, all my siblings went to a Catholic school.
Have
And
you
through
ever,
the hard work of my parents. So
have
that
you
is
ever had Mrs. Ngakta's hot dogs in?
No. This is in Saipan.
Anigua? No, but it's the same story.
Okay.
Mr. and Mrs. Ngakta, she's actually the force behind it, but her husband was the mayor of Agania for a long time.
Okay.
She sold hot dogs, and that put one of her sons through medical school.
Wow.
Selling hot dogs.
So-
The story reminded me of that. Sorry.
It's that dedication, that commitment, that love that my parents instilled in us. So I carry that with me. So that is the same dedication and commitment that people can expect from me for their families.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
You know, I didn't come this far. I didn't come this far, and my children put my children to college. To have people continue to how do you say it? Continue to inflict suffering for us.
Yeah.
So my children are really the wind beneath my wings. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That is very nice. Well, when you make it big, please remember us little people. And
I hope, Troy. I can only hope. I can only hope the people have the faith in me. They know who I am. They know what I stand for. And I'm not backing down.
And I'm glad you chose our platform to tell everybody that you're running and talk to the world
who
about
else
yourself.
would I choose? I mean,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
And it was just fortunate that I happened to be here in Guam.
I know. Can you imagine if the indictment happens during this whole COVID and we cannot be at the federal building in Saipan when it happens? I'm going to be so upset. I need to scout maybe we need to just send Jacob Nakamura or Nancy Maanya
At least
to Saipan to do the quarantine and
just hang
change
out.
their names so the tourist administration doesn't kill them in quarantine. and so that they can be waiting there at the new federal courthouse in case anything
I
happens.
heard it's beautiful. I haven't seen it. I have not
heard it's
seen
beautiful.
it. I heard it's beautiful.
Yeah, maybe IPI should have hired them to whoever
Do the
built
construction?
CMS, Construction and Material Supply, owned by Jotun.
Oh, okay.
Were the project contractors, I think, for that.
Hey, well, maybe the next construction project that the CNMI has, the Tourist Administration, will find another clothing retailer from Guam to do the construction in Saipan.
I know.
You never know.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. This corruption is ridiculous, and it is so shameful when people on Guam, when businessmen on Guam or politicians on Guam are a part of that, are parties. It's just, I'm so ashamed of that. It's just disgusting, so disgusting. I'm sorry. I'm going off in a whatever. Squirrel. Yes.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming tonight. We very much appreciate
I
it.
appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen of Kandit Land, voters of Precinct 1 in Saipan, this is your candidate, Selena Roberto Babata.
Thank you so much.
Vote for Selena.
Yes,
Biba.
vote for Selena.
And Biba Democrat.
Vote for Democrats.
Before
yeah,
Nola
yeah.
kicks me in the butt.
Yeah.
Biba Democrat.
Viva.
Biba.
In the CNMI. Just in the CNMI. My goodness. For Kandit News, I'm Troy Torres.
And I'm Johnny Rosario.
And I'm Selena Babata, your candidate for Precinct 1
Vote for
in CNMI.
Vote for me.
Please vote for me.
Good night.
Good night.